Be quick to support the allegation and be quick to blame the regime. That's rule number one in a revolution. Never ever support the regime because that's how to delegitimize it. Number two, a regime that can abduct people from their homes and this, or even from the street, and these people's bodies or corpses are found in dams, in dump sites, and in quarries, some of them decapitated, is a regime that can do anything to survive. Number three, we have information that more than 300 people are missing in and around Nairobi. This is a fact. It's not rumors. We do not know where these people are. Nobody has told us where they are. The state that is paid to protect these people and to be able to provide this information has not provided it to us. These people were participating in the protests. Therefore, any person who is a freedom fighter must assume that these people are dead and their bodies have not been found. Therefore, to dismiss the information some of us received that they incinerated these bodies or cremated them in Kawa barracks would tend to be a support for a murderous regime. Number four, this regime and the regimes before it have human incinerators all over the place. I know of the ones at the headquarters of the NIS on Kiambu Road. They do have already cremators and incinerators. And they can also use incinerators for animals. If many of you have a clear recollection, you will remember the man who died in Ruiru at a factory, who burned to death, and they could not even find his teeth. They do have the ability to disappear you and incinerate you, or burn you, or cremate you. So anyone who wants to challenge anything I say to you, the onus is on you to table the evidence that contradicts me. Until you do so, focus like a laser beam on the struggle. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Just a moment, Hilary wanted to explain something to Winnie. Winnie, just to add on to what Dr. has said, where did you say you're dialing in from? Nairobi?
I'm from Nairobi, Kenya. Yeah.
Nairobi. So imagine ukipotea pahali na mimi niseme Winnie amepotea. Then Hilary anakuja anasema Winnie hajapotea. So you see, Hilary lazima mimi ni mwenye anasema Winnie hajapotea, lazima kuja proof. Because tukiconcentrate kwa ile inasema that Winnie has not disappeared. If you indeed has disappeared, you know nobody is going to find you. But if we go by saying, okay, Maj is saying Winnie amepotea. Mwenye anasema Winnie hajapotea, atuonyeshe Winnie hajapotea. And in that way, utapatikana. So it's not only what Miguna said that is being disputed by a lot of people. This is propaganda that's going on. So you find that one person says A, instead of people coming to really table evidence against it, they just say the person is lying. But in real sense, when people have disappeared, we will never know. And they're pushing out that propaganda everywhere to just make sure that the truth is buried somewhere. So if you hear something, please tell those people, okay, if you think it's not true, give us the evidence that it's not true. So that way we're going to save more lives. That way we're going to really have a situation whereby we are communicating and we're even seeing the evidences. We should be asking for evidences of that, the thing that we're being told. Thank you. Hilary?
Yeah, thank you so much, Maj. Thank you so much, Daktari, for explaining that. I think those who have been here, Daktari has been explaining this thing over and over, but now I think it is clear, and maybe we will go back to recordings, then you listen to it. Also, kuna wale wanauliza Maji, kwani hakuna Kiswahili hapa? Tunasema ya kwamba
Hillary, on the on the Githurai thing, I have information that those people, the police
Sawa
were
Kings,
shooting
nakupatia
at
muda.
people in a market incessantly, like they were just shooting. So there's a probability that so many people were killed, as Daktari is alluding to. And then also remember, not everyone has got access to internet, or they also have access to spaces like we do, or maybe they're on X, whereby maybe someone is missing, and then we go to their handle and say maybe release someone, or run like a hashtag, like the release guy though nani. So not everyone has got that ability. So many people are not on these social media apps. People are not. They cannot. The best they can do is go to the police station, and you could see the police station saying, like the other day, they said the guy that was murdered outside Parliament. I think the records at City Mortuary, they were saying like he died from mob justice. So we can really not trust whatever this government is telling us until they prove otherwise. They come with that information that Daktari is talking about, and then they say that this is the evidence we have. These people that are saying have been maybe cremated, no, they are not, and then they are alive and they are here where they are.
Sawa sawa, tulikuwa nahimiza watu ya kwamba Kiswahili, kama unaweza zungumza Kiswahili, Maji alisema zungumza tu, come to just speak Kiswahili, usijali, itisha tu mic alafu pewe pia uzungumuze Kiswahili. Kama unaweza zungumza Kiingereza na kama ni Sheng pia ni sawa, hamna shida. Watu wote uzungumuza tu lugha yote ambayo watu wanaweza elewa, Kiingereza ama Kiswahili. Sawa, Maji, back to you.
Thank you so much. Wangulani, Masimba, minute each. Sorry, 2 minutes.
I thought I was online, but it's okay. I'll admit.
Sorry, Justice. I actually skipped you. Justice Masimba and then Wangulani.
Thank you and good evening, all. I must take this moment to continue condoling with the fellow soldiers who have laid their life and their blood for the sake of our country. And I am here to remind them that their blood was not shed in vain. On that very day that Dr. is referring to, where people are questioning whether there was an incinerator that day. I happened to be in both situations. Actually, I was in town, right at the center, at the heart of it all, and I got shot. I was shot 3 times. I've healed now, and on my way back, I was also moving that evening to Kawa Sukari, which is a long, thicker road. No vehicles were moving. The vehicles which could move were up to Roysambu because Githurai was a chock-a-block. No vehicle could pass. So I jumped off the lift I was having and took a motorbike. And I can attest to you, that even the motorbikes who had the bravery and courage to ride through Githurai that day, whatever that guy did, even me, I was like, that was out of this world. He rode through it. The live bullets were bursting through our ears as we were passing. Lucky enough, they did not catch me. That would have been my second scenario. But the things we observed as we were passing through, that's not a country you can imagine. And the death that came out of it, because this guy is killed and they pick in the ambulances and run away with them. And my first stop, because I was supposed to stop at Aga Khan TRM, they'd closed. So next stop, I stopped at Rehema. That's where I got treated of my injuries. And we had so many cases of people who had been shot from Githurai. Check, go and visit those hospitals that day. Look at their recording, including fatality. And those who died who had gone to KU referral hospitals were in numbers. So when this guy stand around and say that it was only probably one and all these things, is an insult to our intelligence. And that was just my personal experience. I had experienced brains being blown off in the road next to Parliament. I'd seen several deaths that very day before occupation of Parliament. We were right at the center of these things, and I've just confirmed that I was a victim, treated as well. So I'm happy that I have healed. That following day, I followed up a number of friends of ours who were affected at Kenyatta National Hospital. And a number of, some of you were with me in the hospital when we visited them. And even today, I would still urge you, if you can visit them, like Ward 6 in Kenyatta has been, I mean, specifically, there's a ward that is dedicated to the victims of demonstration. And then when you sit down with these guys, visit so that you renew your understanding and your indignation, even to engage further. When I visited them, some can't walk, some need wheelchairs, some can't lift their hands. They need strappers to hold their hands. And then they have varying different situations. And the worst of it all was the psychological state they were in. Most of them were wondering whether what they'd engaged in was in vain. And I had to just, again, inspire them and give them hope. And I believe even if you didn't have a hope enough or a reason to come out and bring down this draconian government, visiting those fellas, visiting those brothers and sisters is sufficient reason enough.
Yeah.
That
Please try to
evening,
land.
yes, that very evening I visited the morgue as well. In Kenyatta alone, they registered that Thursday, the Thursday we're talking about incineration. They'd registered 11 live bullet shots. There were already 3 recorded fatalities. Others were in critical situations. Yeah, so these guys can't just run away and deceive and spread lies the way they're continuing. Just to land, would call out comrades again. It's another day, it's another season, and it's another time. That is Tuesday next week. It is us to further, press further on our strategy. We need to keep on the messaging. I would call upon members to keep messaging. We need a moratorium on any trade, on any lending, on any borrowing, or even payment of loans on behalf of Kenya by this guy. And we need to intensify our strategy also in communication, because right now he's really trying to use the mainstream media to talk to our parents, to talk to our fathers, and to badmouth us, divide and conquer. So we also got to need to intensify on our propaganda and exposing him whoever he should be. Ladies, if you've ever worked for a cause, I think it's the time. Camouflage with them. Let's expose these guys. Let's embarrass them. They are actually bringing themselves down. Is a reflexive action. And then again, let's turn out. Let's not just be behind the keyboard or in the spaces alone. When we're called out to come out, I think it's necessary. But then we need to come out strategically. We need to organize ourselves in an undefeatable manner and make sure that we send this message once and for all and loud and clear to a point that this guy would not sit back and call us, faceless, formless. He should know that we have a form, we have structures, we have
Juma,
organization and we have leadership. Thank you. I know I've surpassed my time. My
Yes,
apology.
Juma, and
But I
others who
look
wanted to
forward to
speak. But thanks so
communicating.
much for your
Yes.
info, and do share also that info via a tweet so that we can retweet, and then because that is vital information that you're sharing there. And for those who are coming to say that others are giving false information when it comes to death, this is a very serious information that one would, if it turns out to be false, it would have really grave consequences. So please do not dismiss people. Find evidence to show that they're not telling the truth. Wangulani, then Dr. Owiti. 2 minutes each now, for real. And
Hello all.
sorry, before you go, Wangulani, Peter was dropped off air when he was speaking. Peter, kindly just finalize, and then Wangulani can go.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I got dropped. I don't know how it happened. That was very weird the way it happened. I think the government is trying to do everything possible to scatter us and make sure that we do not come together. So as I was saying, that let's put pressure on those points that will really work. So if we decide that we want to occupy spaces, let everybody come out in large numbers, every town, every city, and we put pressure, because if we do that, he's not going to recover. But if we relent, he's going to come back, and very strongly. As I was saying previously, that you see, like today, he was threatening us. And I want you to believe that he's going to come back very, very strongly, very hard, very brutal. So if we don't remove him, he's going to be very, very brutal. So we don't have a chance. We don't want to give him an option. We make sure that he goes, because if he doesn't go, we will suffer big time. He is very vindictive. I remember when people breached parliament, he said that people must be held accountable. And you see his system, the way he's holding people accountable, he's not even taking people to court. He's abducting people, he's killing them, he's torturing them, and then killing them and dumping their bodies, incinerating their bodies. That is not a person, that is not a human being. This guy is an animal. And you see, he's using the church. He's going to church every Sunday. He's following. Their church people are the ones who are giving him this support and wherever, whereas we are fighting him. And the people in the church really need to rethink their way. Even if they are playing God, they need to really think about it. It is very bad that the people who are supposed to tell him you cannot do A, B, C, D, they are the people giving him that support. They are giving him that platform, you know. And that's why our parents, is very difficult to our parents, really, many of them do not really believe that what we are doing is right, because they look at him as a man of God. But really, is he a man of God? I doubt it. So
Thank you so much, Marina.
yes, so I would urge comrades to come out in numbers and let's push him out. We don't have an option. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your submission, and we appreciate always you coming and also giving some ideas on the same. Guys, I know some people coming in and dropping. Check your Twitter handle. It is not the space. I've noticed that it is your handle. Check what is happening or restart your phone so that you don't complain. And so many people are requesting. So we are trying our best to get people on board. Who is coming next, Marge?
Next we have Wangulani, then Owiti. And like said, the main speakers, if you want to chime in, just feel free at any time. And I've also dropped twice, so it's a technical thing. It's the targeting the space, so we are not removing or dropping anyone. Wangulani, 2 minutes each now, guys. We still have over 100 requests. I'm gonna be now very strict, and so after 1 minute, you're gonna see my hand up. That means you have a minute left. So Wangulani.
Hello all. Okay, so I'll be very brief. So today we saw that the president was very arrogant, and that means that there are people who are giving him confidence to be that arrogant. So I suggest that we identify these people who are basically the politicians supporting him, and maybe some of the rogue police officers, and identify their businesses and maybe their homes, and we can occupy those business premises that belong to them, thus making it very hard for them to do business, disturbing their peace at home. I'm not saying that we should raid their businesses, because I don't encourage violence. So we should just occupy their business premises and their homes. In this way, we will be applying pressure on them. Once they start feeling the pressure around their places, they will not have peace, and thus they will stop misadvising Ruto. And they will also start advising him to let go, because they will start to realize that if all Kenyans don't have peace, they can not also have peace. That's all.
Thank you so much. I'm actually of a contrary opinion about occupying business premises, because that can really be used to divide the citizens, and it's like a livelihood, like the Kenya we live in. when somebody goes, for business, they're going to bring the food back to their child. So if that is, and it's not even the one that you targeted, but then you end up blocking another person. So that's something that's going to bring division, and it's gonna be like some sort of vigilantism. But I stand free to be corrected as we move to Owino, Dr.
Maj, I
When was
think, Maj, sorry, I think you're right. Let's not turn citizen against citizen. Let us target Ruto, his regime, and their enablers, like Raila Odinga. Ruto, his regime, and his enablers.
Thank you so much, Dr. That's what I wanted to echo and merge what you have said. Let us not target the people's business because they need unga like us. Always let us target the public places. That's the way we are saying parliament and any other place which is public but not business people. I want to say that again, we have 8,000 people are crying here. Follow me, follow each other. Let us follow each other so that when we have these spaces, it's very important. I'm just calling upon, I see some people are saying I'm new here, is when I'm joining. Thank you so much for coming on board. And I'll also make sure that you follow the spaces so that when you have a space, you can see what is happening. Dr. Wen is coming in?
Yes.
Okay, Witty, go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Daktari Miguna, thanks so much for being here. First and foremost, allow me to set my profile right. I'm Daktari Owito Wayo. I contested for the Kibra parliamentary seat in 2019, following the demise of Ken Okoth. I'm a graduate from the University of Nairobi. I studied philosophy. And the reason why I'm joining this platform is because I have been a victim of torture and abduction. In 2021, as a student of Miguna, actually, I was at the forefront. I was at the forefront to speak against the brutality which was ensuing in the country at that time. That was during the era of the CS of Interior Matiang'i. And just as Miguna is actually very focused on ensuring that we have a regime that respects constitutionality, constitutionalism, blah, 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 I believe that as a young man, I have the ability to express myself without being called or without being coerced by any person, as long as I observe the rule of law, and I also observe the constitutionalism of this country, actually. After suffering unduly, because I was abducted, I was taken to the industrial area prison, I was moved from the industrial area prison and taken to Kiambu, and this suffering has never been brought to any public domain. The kind of suffering I underwent in 2021 in the hands of Matiang'i, who claimed that I had the ability to kill him. Actually, he reported me to the police. He took me to the DCI on account that I wanted to kill him. And basically what I was telling Matiang'i, I was telling him that you are in a public office and you must ensure that whatever you do to a fellow human being, you should expect the same to be done to you.
Yeah.
And I also want...
Could you kindly land, because we're giving people 2 minutes each. Please take your...
So okay. The reason why I'm bringing this to the public is because there are so many young people, there are so many Kenyans who are suffering unduly. They are willing and ready to join the revolution, but they're afraid that when they're abducted, when they're taken to prison, nobody cares about that. So Dr. Miguna, I can request you, I'm requesting you here to be at the forefront to ensure that any patriot, any person who comes out to fight against the brutality in this country, the atrocity in this country, actually is in your record, so that they find a way of being helped here and there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Kenyan checklist. I'm so sorry. Good that you're raising your hand. I really have not forgotten about you. Take a go.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Now, are we allowed now to speak our mind without
Go
From
fear?
the
ahead.
very beginning, you were allowed. Just stay within those 2 minutes, please. Yeah. Over to you.
Maybe I want to first of all ask a question. We have to get a clear direction on where we are going, and we also have to get rid of people who are taking advantage or the opportunists, people who are not clear on what they want. Let me call out Miguna Miguna. Miguna Miguna is not helping us in any way. He is a lawyer. Our people are being taken to for custody. Miguna Miguna has not helped even one single
No,
protester
let me ask
who.
you. Let me
How is
ask you. No,
quiet?
no,
Let me.
hold on,
We
hold
said.
on,
We
hold on,
said.
hold on. If you have a
Just let him
you have a
let
Twitter.
him speak.
Yes,
Let
I
him
want to
speak,
let him
Mike.
speak, Dr. Ray, but he has a Twitter handle, and to come and blame you as a lawyer for not having helped.
You said. You said. We are all on the right on the
So
same.
Kenya, can you please let me speak?
Kenya checklist. Hear the
So
direction.
what I'm going to say
Is very important.
here is
Mad,
that
can you hear him? I can't hear him at all.
no, I think Hillary has
No, you
muted
muted.
him.
It's muted.
So I'm going to tell you people, all of you, some of you are sycophant. You went in and refused to think. You followed your favorite politician. You were a sycophant. Now, when they turn against you because politicians are the same, you come here and start blaming people. We are not going to be that emotional dustbin where you come to insult people or to attack people personally. So if you have a personal attack against anyone, you are on Twitter, you can use that Twitter handle to attack that person. If you're coming to contradict their idea, you're free. So sorry, and this is something that has not gone very well with people, but no attacks are going to happen in this space. There are many people, personal attacks, no. Calling out an idea and say this is a bad idea, yes. So back to you as you finish your 2
And
minutes.
before he comes in, let us focus on the idea or our topic today that is making sense. I think all of us are here in one mission, and that mission should be one. So somebody coming and we don't want to divert attention. I think Dr. has been volunteer advices for everybody all the time since we start these spaces. So when you're saying that, I don't think that we're sincere on the same. Otherwise, he's dropped. So I don't know who's next. Say away, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you.
So Fred, you have a mic. Oh, Mumbi, go ahead. Sarah is still struggling, maybe. Mumbi.
And apart from that, before Mumbi goes, Hillary, this is just my personal opinion there. Some of them also voted on tribal lines. And when their tribal kingpins have turned against them, they're coming. Yes, it's a serious situation, but please, let's not use it to have personal attacks. They are not allowed. Mumbi?
Thank you for the opportunity once again. I'd like to encourage everyone and to thank everyone for turning out. Every time you're called upon to turn out to defend our rights and our nation. For me, it's more of a question: how do we get everyone on board, everyone who's Kenyan? Because now it's more termed as a Gen Z or a young people revolution, but where we are at, it's supposed to be everyone. How do we get everyone on board? Another thing is, I am a believer in Christ, and Ruto has, from the start, even during campaigns, gone to church. So I'm calling upon the church to actively criticize the government because it's their role. Because when they say all we do is just pray and pray and pray, prayer sometimes without action is dead. Faith without action is dead. As you can see in the book of Joshua, when there was occupation of Israel, when they were marching around the wall of Jericho for 6 days, we had spiritual leaders actively in this. So I'm calling upon the church to stand up with us, even if they're going to call for a week or fast or go to the streets with us, but they can't, during this time, they can't stay silent at all, because they're the ones who can also reach our parents and the older generation, because they really listen to them apart from the president. So I'm really calling upon the church to stand up with us, to stand up with the nation, and to help us educate our parents and be active in this, not just telling us, oh, we need dialogue, or we need to pray. They need to be active in this. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Dr. Ring, would you let us know if you want to chime in now, or if you could?
Yeah,
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 okay.
I would
Please
like
go.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Maj, thank you very much for what you're doing. I want to explain a few things to a few people, and I've been saying this for a long time, but it doesn't seem like it's getting into everyone, but I don't expect it to get into everyone. Number one, this struggle is a voluntary struggle. Nobody's forcing anyone to struggle. If you feel that you support tyranny and looting, plunder, and the destruction of the country, by all means, feel free to support the regime. But you are a few. We will defeat you. So, but feel free to support them. If you do support theft of public resources, then we have a right to conclude that you are also a thief. If you support murder, we have a right to conclude that you are a murderer. If you support abductions and torture, we have a right to believe that that's what you do either for a living or you do it as a habit. Regardless, you have chosen your side. I chose my side when I was young, at the ages of the Gen Zs. I was only 18 when I chose the struggle. I've never left it. Now, clearly, Miguna does not hold public office, and I've never held public office since 2011. So everybody knows that. And there has been no allegations of corruption against Miguna, not once. Miguna has never been terminated because of violations of Article or Chapter 6 of the Constitution. What we are having are specific problems that Kenyans have faced for a very long time. I don't feature in them. I only feature as a resistance, as somebody who is resisting these atrocities against the Kenyan people. So if you're attacking me, it means that you don't want me to continue fighting for social justice. So we know where you stand. There is no problem. Secondly, the Kenya the Law Society of Kenya, and starting from the President Faith Odhiambo, have been very gallant in representing all people who have been arrested, who have been abducted, who have been charged pro bono. They have given their toll-free numbers for everybody to call them in the event that you are arrested. Why do you want Miguna to be representing you? And you are right here on Spaces, you have not even been arrested. What is it that you want from me? I'm not your father, I'm not your mother. I'm just a fellow citizen. I'm a compatriot trying to fight for your freedom. It should not matter where Miguna is at any specific time physically. The only people demanding to know where I am are the people who came to my home already twice to abduct me. Why is that your interest? Why is your interest the fact that Miguna has not visited you at home and yet I don't know who you are? So let us focus, as I said, and I will repeat for the purposes of everyone. This is a collective effort. It is not a personal fight. We are fighting a systemic problem, a problem that started during British colonialism, the problem of theft of public resources and land, the problem of misappropriation of public resources, the problem of assassinations, the problem of murder, the problem of torture. These are things that started during colonialism. Kenyatta continued them, Moi continued them, Kibaki continued them, Uhuru continued them, and now Ruto is perfecting them. These are the things that Kenyans want a stop to. Now, finally, not everybody will be fighting the system because we know that a few, a tiny fraction, less than 1%, are fighting to continue their privileges. This is to be expected, the collaborators of the system. So anybody who is looking for all Kenyans to join the fight is just naive. Not everyone will be fighting the system because we have beneficiaries of the system. We also have sympathizers of the system. Let us unite as patriots and wipe them out. It doesn't matter whether you are from my age group or not, or whether you are from my tribe or not, or whether you are from my class or profession or gender. We must unite as patriots to protect our country from being destroyed fatally by Ruto and his regime and their collaborators. That's all I wanted to say. There is nothing personal in this fight. This is a collective effort.
Thank you so much, Dr. And so do liars with Hillary so that at least we get to know how much more minutes you have, and then we can see when to end the space and at least plan to have the invited guest speakers also give their closing remarks. As you liars with the Hillary in the background, and Neto, anytime you want to speak, just feel free to chime in. So we go by Ndolo and then Ains, then Rogers.
Also, Marge, remember to tell people to follow each other. You follow the speakers, follow the
Yeah,
host,
okay,
the
yes.
and the
Let's not
speakers.
forget to build a network because.
Number. Yeah.
Okay, Kings noted. Ndolo?
Shukran. Mwanisikia? Mwanipata?
Sambamba.
Shukran ndugu na kaka Miguna, Neto Agustino, Hana, Maj, Hillary na wengine wote waliopo. I mean, the conversation is good. And mine is just to insist on some things, for a very long time, we've always been saying that it is the institution, the professional institutions that can give us good leaders. Okay, so if it is the professional institution like say LSK, those one can give us good leaders. If you go to the engineers, if you go to the accountants, if you go to the nurses, the quantity surveyors, these are the people who can give us good leaders in the country. But if the institutions are not fighting for their members well, then problems are going to come up, because an angry man, or rather somebody who is very hungry, who needs food rather, will always look at the stomach. So when the financial bill was being passed, and then there were issues like dropping, trying to make sanitary towels be expensive, I wondered why. Yet if you go on my timeline, there's a lady who has been doing sanitary towels. She dropped out of her she left her job that was, I think, she was an air hostess, and then she started producing cheap sanitary towels in the country, yet she's not an engineer. This is somebody who can be supported and ensure that the local manufacturing sector grows. So I find it very hard when a few group of professionals in the engineering sector, for where I come from, that you find very few young people trying to say, hey, we need to ensure that local content is adhered to. We need to ensure that this one is adhered to, so that we promote the local companies, the local institutions that can bring jobs. But the few group of people up there in the professional societies are not seeing that there's a problem. They're very comfortable up there. That said, this movement, it has never been about it is not about Ruto. It's about the continuous misperception and poor use of institutional offices. Much I see your hand, I'm winding up. And I find it very hard very hard to understand why people are keep on saying that we need to amend the constitution. The constitution the way it is okay. 47 counties, We just need to ensure that, if possible, we make sure that Nairobi County become under the national government, but make sure the 47 counties remain as they are. And the